Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Tales of Quote Unquote Heroic Adventure uh, with our evil party. For those of you who are maybe missing last episode, or if last episode for some reason didn't go out, the party has opted to assist Dastro's apprentices, Lyran and Siren, in reactivating the Warlock Tower to be used as a venue to create and a staff to create magic items with, as well as to perform a variety of other small magical functions. To do this, they need to collect a number of items. The first of these is a child's innocence, and to do that, they are attending the Lambing, a human festival wherein the young shepherd boys are for the first time, and girls, young shepherd boys and girls are for the first time required to slaughter one of the lambs, one that they had been keeping for some time beforehand, in order that they can come to understand the farmer's connection to nature and to their herd. Along the way, they met Gavinia McTavish, a human barbarian from the hills around Hickory Ford. She was hunting her younger brother's lamb, Snowflake. Snowflake, it would seem, was being hunted by a pack of hippogriffs. The party defeated the hippogriffs and recovered Snowflake. They are now returning to Gavinia's home on the night before the lemming.
I need better armor, complained Alicia.
There's a shop in town. You guys have some money to distribute around. That might be a good use of your time tomorrow after the lambing. But Gavinia insists. You all have to come back with me to the clan hall. Celebrate the lambing tomorrow. You wanted to be there for it, I remember you saying. And after you helped us find Snowflake, it would be wrong, morally, ethically, and personally, not to have you join us for dinner.
Of course, I would be honored to join you.
Snowflake bleated
Olive says with a bow.
Snowflake bleated adorably as she pet the young lamb. Tomorrow's dinner, most obviously.
I politely refuse.
She narrows her eyes, holding her hand petting the back of Snowflake's neck. The lamb looks up at her, confused as to why the petting suddenly stopped, then followed her gaze over to the veil, looking back and forth between her. The lamb shook a little bit and looked away, terrified by the intense glare on Gavinia's face.
Sari, why would you say that? They're offering to put us up for the night and treat us to a great meal tomorrow. I think it's very rude of you to turn them down.
Human tradition doesn't concern me. This is a moral dilemma on my part, and I just will not take place in
it. Alicia holds up a finger. I don't think this concerns human tradition. It's free lodging, free food. Logically, you should accept it.
Declining an offer of hospitality is a mark of enmity among humankind, Vailganar.
That's nice. Sorry to say, Miss Gavinia, but I do not see it that way. That one, yes.
And how do you see it, you abominable snowman?
Number one, I'm not a snowman.
You are very cold.
You live on the ice up there, don't you? She says, pointing to the distant peak of Nilthium.
Snowmen are things that you build in the snow in the winter, or in the summer, depending on...
Well, I didn't come for a lesson on Vailish biology.
And I'm only here to complete my end of this party's bargain, which does not include me staying for dinner and watching, he points to Snowflake, that be killed and served at dinner. So my part is done in it.
Alicia shakes her head like, begging is so weird.
She glowers again, as if debating picking a fight over this, but decides putting down Snowflake would probably be more effort than that's worth. You have earned
Alicia
the
holds
enmity
her-
of your new NPC.
Alicia holds her arms out to help carry Snowflake if she wanted to put the ship down.
She's not actually going to punch out someone for refusing that. But
She'd
she
be
is going to
guiding bolted twice.
She'd probably be fine. In any event, the rest of you are still clearly invited, even though she's making faces and trying to find some way to hold the lamb in both hands while squirming and trying to escape her, while also managing to free enough hand to give the departing Velganar the middle finger.
Well,
Oh, I
Alicia
like this
certainly
one.
will show up.
The two of you are still welcome. Come on, then. There'll be fine ale. Well, I say fine. There'll be my uncle's ale and some pies tonight. And tomorrow, the lambing.
Wonderful.
You're having to watch, my brother. Do you feel you'll want to help, or do you just want to be enjoying the ale?
With what sort of help?
Just making sure he doesn't let Snowflake out again.
Oh, well, we can't have him do that now, can we? I suppose I wouldn't mind helping. It's very important
Good.
that we do that the lambing be done.
It is.
We elves do not sleep.
He's got to grow up to become strong if he's going to live a shepherd's life. He'll have to kill lots of sheep. Getting over it with one that he named and cared for is the only way, she said self-assuredly.
Well, yes, that makes perfect sense to me. Alicia, you brought up the yes, as elves, you don't need to sleep as much as us mere mortals. So it seems to me that once you are done with your trance, you can look after the sheep.
Pretty much, yeah. I have no problem with that.
That sounds good to me.
Right.
I still don't understand the concept of the lambing, though. I mean, we elves would have done it differently, but
How would you have done it? Gavinia asked. We don't know much about elven culture. Unseemly, they say, full of dark magic, crime.
well, for one, we would simply have not named it in the first place. The sheep are livestock. They don't need a name. We feed them, we care them, they grow up, we shear them, and then eventually we kill them and eat them. And it does not need to be any more complicated than that.
Well, we value our traditions. The human
Wish-
heart is a
yeah.
bit gentler than the elf heart, a little less prone to crime, a little more prone to empathy. It's something we need to train ourselves out of at a young age.
I'm not sorry, but did you just imply that elves are more inclined to cry?
I wouldn't say imply.
I think she
I
just said it.
I mean, Alicia just sighs.
Come on, I'm sure you're one of the good ones. You'll be welcome in my home tonight.
She sighed further. You know, I'm not even going to Yeah, sure. I'll be there for the dinner, the landing, and watching over Snowflake for you guys.
All right. McTavish Hall is a tall wooden structure. It has a great hearth in the middle of an eating area that a few families share, along with a couple of sets of small clan bedroom areas. Private rooms, not so much a thing here, so much as a series of common rooms, but there does seem to be one room that is set aside for guests that you are all offered to share. The beds are mounded piles of hay on wooden frames with sheets. They're not like awful, but they're not as good as the inn either. The beer is freely
They are
offered.
free at least.
You learn over the course of the evening, chatting with people, that this version of the lambing is a McTavish tradition. It does usually go more or less the way that Alicia describes. People will have their their kid do the first slaughter, but they won't have them name and keep the lamb for a few weeks first. That's something that the McTavishes do to be strong, stronger than the others, they claim. So there's not much evidence of that in the clan hall. It's neither impressive nor unimpressive, fairly average, typical. Do either of you have anything you plan to raise the evening before the lemming?
Raise what?
I don't know, just a thing you want to do, or are you just going to go along with their traditions?
It's a human thing. Alicia will not stop it.
Olive will probably join in if there's any music being played. She'll join them or maybe start it. Tell stories around the fire when it gets dark.
All right.
Um,
There is music, but it is awful.
My
Gavinia
ears.
performs
They
a loud
bleed.
bagpipe piece,
Yes.
and
and Olive accompanies the bagpipe playing with her fiddle.
right.
At the much more skillful performance.
Gavinia's cousin yells at her over the bagpipe. She shoots him a glare. Her brother yells too. She shoots him a glare. Then the two of them come. Her brother grabs the bagpipe. She takes a swing at him. Cousin takes a swing at her, and they're having a brawl now. While you're playing the drums, I guess.
Fiddle.
Fiddle.
Wow.
Okay.
Yeah. As soon as the brawl breaks out, Olive changes to a more lively tune.
People laugh, cheer, mugs of beer are raised.
And
the fighters are laughing as well.
Starts hurling out bardic inspiration to Gavinia.
Well,
so that she will
see how she does. I'm just going to roll a d20 plus a d6 plus her strength of 0. And we will see how this goes for fairly averagely. She fights with her cousin and her brother, and she manages to fight them to a standstill. The three of them collapse and break a table in front of the hearth. They all laugh, and more drinks are poured. It seems to be a fairly festive day.
I found a song that Olive is playing.
I'm confident that we shouldn't put that on our YouTube thing, but yes.
Mortal Kombat on violin.
Mr. Ploosh. It's Ploush to the people watching at home.
Yes. I will link it in the description.
Wonderful.
Because I want to listen to it after.
If it's bad, we won't link it. We'll just say it was bad.
It's pretty good.
I believe you.
So in the midst of all of this, Gavinia's younger brother is holding Snowflake. He's not looking very happy. He cried when you came back with Snowflake. He ran and hid in his room. His mother had to get him to come out, and he's come out now. You didn't have a lot of direct interaction with him, but he's looking like he's having a pretty hard time. As the evening
Alicia
goes on,
approaches him.
oh, Alicia is going to speak with him first. Alicia still needs to meditate at some point tonight. It's coming near to the time that she was going to. He should probably go to bed soon as well. You approach, and he looks up, looking over the imposing, dangerous-looking elf woman with her gun and her swords.
Well, he did not have to look up much anyway. Alicia doesn't help after all.
It's like 12.
Still pretty small. Yeah. So only looking a little bit, but Alicia is to the tip. Well, I suppose she's only holding her rapier and main bush now and leaving her guns like somewhere safe so that she's, not looking like she's out to kill somebody, but still relatively armed. And she's holding like a horn of meat or whatever they're serving as drinks here.
Oh, they're just giving beer.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, beer, that's good. So she approaches this 12 years old kid.
Yep.
So, you're the man of honor tomorrow.
Yes, he says reluctantly after some time.
Alicia takes a swig of the beer. Yeah, it's weird, this human tradition thing about making bond with the livestock that you're supposed to kill anyway. Kind of cruel.
You're the first person I've ever met who thought humans were odd. I guess you would. You're an elf. You probably...
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't really know much if anything about elves.
Yeah, nobody knows a lot of things about it. We kind of got killed quite a lot by the humans. See.
Gavinia says that this will make me strong, that it won't hurt once it's done.
Oh, I'm sure it's gonna hurt a lot. She takes a swig from her beer. A lot.
The kid makes a frightened whine and sort
I
of
don't-
clutches Snowflake closer.
I don't know if it's gonna make you strong or not, but again, I'm not very familiar with the human tradition. But I can tell you one thing though. Humans get really, really good at killing things. And you're still young, but I'm sure that you will grow up to be very, very good at killing things as well.
The
Even
boy's
if they are mostly sheeps.
The boy's grip on Snowflake became tighter and tighter as you spoke, until at last the lamb, being uncomfortable, started to kick and buck. Kicking into the boy's chest, the lamb knocked him over back against the wall and bounded out across the top of the room, leaping onto the tabletop, knocking over beer and food. Gavinia shouted, "Somebody get that damn lamb!" And everybody started to
Can
get it.
can Alicia catch it?
She can certainly try. How would Alicia like to catch the lamb?
Let's see. I need to see my character sheet again.
Well, you might have to join the Roll20 for that.
Yes. Second, I am looking for the link.
You should try to save it. Here it is.
Right, where is oh there.
I mean, if you just go to Roll20 and go to your games, it'll have every game that you've been in. Shouldn't need. Never mind.
Alright, I am coming in. Okay, let's see.
Natural choices for you here would include I would allow acrobatics for tabletop running, because it is mostly a question of balance rather than like leaping distance. I certainly think that you could get away with stealth or as a way to go, and animal handling would make a ton of sense if you weren't awful at it.
All right. So, Alicia should definitely acrobatic because she's an elf. She will run on top of tables and shoulders, heads of farmers and whatever. You know, making leads and bound toward the jumping sheep, and then tackles it from the air.
All right, roll acrobatics. All right. Yeah, you bound after it, stepping easily between spilled meals and drinks, not even getting your shoes dirty. Soon enough, you've scooped up the lamb, which writhes and fights in your arms, but can offer no fight against an adult, really.
Alicia returns back to the boy with the sheep, asking him, "You all right?"
He makes a face and looks away, crossing his arms, trying to retain his dignity. Gavinia
Alicia,
at that one came over. Oh, what does Alicia offer? Sorry.
Alicia was going to offer the lamb back to the boy, but what was Gavinia gonna say?
All right, you. It's time for bed. Let's get you and the lamb upstairs. I don't want the. I've had my brother nail your storm shutters closed, so you can't throw him out the window. Not, I think you would. We'll keep a watch on your door. Boy, look resigned to his fate.
I think throwing the lamb off the window would be one of the more painful way for it to die. It would be a very cold and human thing to do, but yeah.
But if he didn't mean to kill it, he won't get strong enough. Said, he'll just be filled with regret.
That is true. Oh well, here's your lamb, kid. Try to not get kicked in, right? And then Alicia offers him his lamb.
We'll take the lamb and carry Snowflake off to bed. So who's on
Alicia, still
first
wanting
lamb
a
watch?
beer.
Oh, Alicia's had more than one beer. She'll be given another one.
Wonderful. She would knock that back and like, I'm going to go get my trances in.
Yes. You go ahead and trance for 4 hours. I will take the first lamb watch with some of Gavinia's cousins, and when you are done trancing, you come and I will get some sleep.
All right, okay. Alicia will go find a nice quiet spot, relatively quiet, to sit and trance and pondering about how weird and strange and cruel humans are.
All right. The boy does make an aborted attempt to get the lamb out, but between watches, it's fairly easy. The door cracks. He sees someone there. The door slams shut, and he runs back into bed. Meanwhile, where did our Velganar go?
He went down to one of the inns. If there's more than one, if there's just one, he's went to the inn, and he's gonna get a room and sit and
back to Tabit's place, eh?
Yep.
So, are you going to be paying for the common room or a private room today?
Is there a common room?
There is.
I'll pay for a private room.
Wonderful.
Wise decision.
As you know, those conditions here are comfortable and cost 2 gold pieces.
Alrighty, that's fine with me. And I'm going to drink. all night.
Fair enough. You drink all night.
All the wine, their best wine, any wine they have.
Tavit warns you. Are you sure you want to do that? We're having a happy hour celebration for the lambing tomorrow. We should have shepherd's pie, lamb pies, beers and wines at a discount. Could be good to save yourself, but if you want to drink 2 nights in a row, who am I to stop you?
He goes, there's no problem drinking 2 nights in a row, you know? And he does that again. Yeah, he's fine with that.
Tavit shrugs. His ears flop and perk back up, and he gets back to work polishing a mug.
It takes me a lot longer to get drunk than it would like anyone in this bar room.
Most likely. Not a lot of people are here tonight. Most people are preserving themselves for the big holiday tomorrow. So, morning eventually comes at the McTavish residence. A rooster is crowing well before the sun is up.
Oh, when Alicia returns to the room after in the morning, so after Alicia's taken her watch, if she comes into the room where she and Olive were staying together, she will find that Olive, once Alicia left to take her watch, has utilized the tent that she uses to partition herself a private space within their shared room.
It took a bit of work. Tents normally require some soft earth to be set up on, and this is flagstone.
Yes.
But I'll figure you managed to jerry-rig something.
Yes.
That not structurally sound is at least private.
Yes. Using the fabric as like a, finding a way to like hang it or something. Just
some of the tent poles you'll find places to wedge against uneven flagstones.
Yes.
You'll be able to come up with something like a blanket for its worth of privacy, if not a real tent.
Yes. And Olive does that.
Wonderful.
What are you doing? Alcis asked curiously.
Don't come in. Is it time for the lambing?
Not yet. I'm here for the watch.
Now this would be after you've done your watch.
Yes,
Oh,
this is when
okay.
you're returning from the garage. Though you still do have another hour or so before the lambing. Some people are up and about. Bread is being baked. Some of the early chores that need to be done as soon as people get up are being done. And then once they're done, the morning routine, they're going to gather for the lambing.
Yeah, it's breakfast time, and the lambing's gonna be like, I guess, an hour from now. They said.
Oh, breakfast is a little bit after the lambing. They're just starting work on it.
Okay.
I'll be down in a moment.
Okay. Alicia finds it very, very weird, but whatever. Humans are weird.
Yes. Olive emerges from her blanket fortress, fully dressed in her. You know what? No. She's going to be wearing her human clothes today, and she's going to be going as a human.
All right, let's see how good your disguise is.
Is disguise kit based on charisma?
I will allow it. It's adequate. If someone suspected you were a tiefling, they would certainly pick up on the fact that a couple of things here and there might not fit, but no one here is going to fail to be fooled by that. Except possibly Alicia. I might give Alicia a roll.
Mm-hmm.
because that would have been below her passive investigation, maybe. Would it? Let me check. If it is, I'm going to give her a roll. Oh, it's at her
Okay,
passive
what?
investigation. You know what? No, it's fine. Alicia is fooled.
Okay. Yes. So she emerges from her blanket fortress in like a dress, just like a as an entertainer background. She got 3 costumes, but I'm assuming that one of them is her normal human people costume, her not a tiefling costume. So she comes out, and I'm seeing her in like a blue dress with a large hat which covers her horns, and all of her skin either covered with gloves or the dress or makeup, make her pass as human.
Yep. And pass as human she does. People seem pleased that you didn't wear the evil clown costume to the lambing. They thought, this is going to be hard for the boy already without having nightmares about evil clowns the rest of his life.
Yes. And of course she has a certain garnet in her pocket.
Of course. So, the affair itself is relatively quick and straightforward. Everyone gathers and stands in a big circle all around a bucket. There's some rope. The sheep is brought over, and the boy is given a knife. He's to slit the sheep's throat over the large bucket, and hang the sheep up, or the lamb up by the back hoofs, so that the blood will drain, so that they can use it to make a blood pie and some blood sausages, along with the rest of everything they're going to do. The boy cries, naturally. Snowflake presses in close and licks the tears from his face, reassuringly, trying to be a good pet and friend.
Olive, maneuvers her way to the front row, as it were. She has a garnet in her hand. She is ready to say the words at the appropriate moment.
Eventually, sorry, go on, Alicia.
Alicia feels nothing.
Okay. Continuing to live up to your party identity. Excellent. Well, eventually the boy succumbs to peer pressure. Entire extended family staring at him, getting impatient for him to do this. He apologizes to Snowflake, who seems shocked and betrayed as the knife pulls across his throat. Everyone cheers and applauds as the lamb fights and slowly dies. Boy is still crying as he hangs him up. Olive says the words. She can feel the gem get very hot and then very cold, and then slowly start returning to room temperature.
With the magic done, she stores the gem into her pocket, and will take her turn in congratulating the young man with everyone else who witnessed the event.
Everyone certainly does, and the rest of the day becomes something of a celebration of honor. They immediately start to fry up some shavings from the lamb's stomach to make a sort of a thin bacon to go with sausages from last year's lambing. They start chopping up and butchering the lamb, and throughout the rest of the day, there's lamb chops, shepherd's pie, lamb this, lamb that. The people are boiling lamb soups. They're making blood stocks. The whole house is busy at this, and the boy is forced to try everything, and he toughs his way through it. The inn is having a similar such affair, but without a crying child. There had been, deliveries of lamb come in through the day, and Tavit seems pleased enough to be doling everything out. At this point, 2 of you were, if I recall, planning to try to recruit Gavinia to come on this profit-driven enterprise.
Yes. So, some point during the celebration, Olive will find Gavinia wherever she is.
She's easily found. You'll be sat beside one another at we'll go with dinner.
Mm-hmm. So,
Nice rack of lamb.
yes. So Gavinia, I must say you seemed quite capable in that battle against the hippogriffs the other day.
Thank you. I've long trained with this sword. Consider it a point of pride and honor that I could kill any man I meet, or any woman.
I don't doubt you could. You know, the 3 or 4 of us, depending on if the dog man is still extant, are something of adventurers, and we could use a good strong sword like yourself.
Adventures, you say? What manner of adventures do you go on?
Well, we have only recently been
Profitable ones.
working together, but oh yes, it has been most profitable so far.
Really? She'll say. So you must have a pile of gold and jewels you could somewhere.
Some.
I have never been as rich as I have right now in my life.
Go on. Put your money where your mouth is. Well, put it on the table, actually. You can keep it, of course, but you can prove that you're profitable adventurers. Well, you know, we could
Alicia-
use some new furniture here.
Alicia put down her pouch of hundreds of gold coins. So this is after I brought like my new adventuring gear, some more guns, some other weapons.
You haven't bought any of that yet,
Potion.
but you do pour some gold onto the table. The conversation stops, and people turn to look and pay attention. You think you've made a point. Gavinia is not willing to answer right away, but she says that we'll talk more tomorrow, and then the rest of her family, more or less, spend the rest of the time trying to pressure her into going, talking about all the
It's
things they could
dangerous,
spend money
though.
on.
Alicia, we'll tell them like right there first that it is dangerous though. I almost died pretty much every time we got into a fight.
That's because we didn't have a strong sword like Gavinia with us. But
That is true.
a woman
That
like
is
her
true.
can kill anyone we come across, I'm sure.
All right. So that leaves you guys with some time while she sorts that out. She'll give you her answer tomorrow morning to meet back up with your Valish friend and let him know what happened and do some shopping. So is Lisseri at the inn, or are you guys going to see Lisseri at all? Gonna go to the shop.
If parties tends to get boring or something, Olive does want to buy some new armor for herself.
Fair enough. Well, you have the whole day on the 29th off, and Lisseri also had the 28th. So 4 more gold from Lisseri, 2 more from you guys if you want private rooms as well. And catch on up. Go shopping.
Okay.
Spend some time downtime if you want to. Got 2 days of it.
All
Or
right.
more if you want.
I don't know what to buy.
So, I have some loot in my loot document which has not been divided up yet.
I want that that war cloak thingy. That's really cool.
I didn't understand a word you just said.
The war thing that we killed. That the
Oh
goblins
yes.
was riding?
I know what she's talking about. She wants a cloak of protection made out of the warg hide. She brought the clothier.
Oh, all right.
Once the cash is divided, we can talk about that. But I would encourage you to consider some
Alright.
other options first.
Yes. Okay, so let's see. I have gold. I have 3 50 gold piece sardonyx gems. Will they be able to be sold for that price here?
Yes, gems are money.
Gems are money. Okay, so I will convert those into 150 gold pieces. I assume the same can be said for obsidian dust.
Yes.
And there's I can't think of any purpose for obsidian dust other than selling it.
They glue it. You glue it to some paper. Lee wants it.
Okay, I think we sell that. And
I suspect that they might have had some other use for it in the tower, but it's something that someone will practically make use of in a town like this.
And let's see, Lasari is a cleric, so they can use the Scroll of Remove Curse. So we should keep that, and we should keep the Greater Potion of Healing. I have that we have a cask of ale from the tower.
You can get a price on a cask of ale here. They won't pay you much for it, though. Probably no more than 5 gold, because a lot of ales are finishing right now. It's a big rush season for it.
Let's keep it then.
You mostly just deprived the elves of their ale.
Elves likes ale.
Yeah. Okay. So let me add up what we've got.
Not particularly good ale or a particularly large cask either.
50 plus. Okay, so if I turn all the rolls of gold, we get that. So in terms of gold coins, this is before addressing the silver or copper. We have 466 to divide up. Am I dividing this by 3? Or by 4? Because Jaxler hasn't been able to...
Divided by 3, and if Jaxler comes back, I will dump some money on him.
Okay. So that's 155 gold, point 3. So 155 gold, 3 silver.
All right. I'll add that to your sheet for you, Anya, because I think you're on mobile or whatever right now. So it's... All right.
Okay. Now we also have so I'm going to move that from my loot. We've also...
Did you get that written down, Trissy?
I'm gonna be right back.
I'll add it to Lissari's sheet too.
Yes,
Okay.
I already wrote it down.
Okay.
We've also got 1,191 silver, which I guess we should divide up. 191 divided by 3. 397 silver.
That should put us at 400 silver with that 0.3.
So
Which, correct me if
391
I'm
point
wrong.
what, sorry?
I'm sorry, what?
391 point what, sorry?
397.
397. Got it, sorry. Correct you if you're wrong, what, sorry?
What did you say, Tracy?
Sorry, I'm chewing. We should have 400 silver, if I'm correct, after that.
Right. Plus whatever you had before.
Yeah.
And after dividing it 4 ways, everyone gets 1,133 copper pieces.
Golly, that looks like 11.3 gold.
1,100 and what, sorry?
1,133.
Yep.
Else. And yes, if there are money changers, I'm going to change some of this other stuff into gold.
Yep. The fairly standard adventure economy going in the realms of men, as it were.
Mm-hmm.
You can find money changers in any major town.
All right. All right. And I'll leave. So. 11. Yeah. All right. So I've got 220 gold, plus like a handful of silver and a little bag of copper left over.
That's a big bag of copper.
All right.
Well, 33 copper pieces, 5 silver pieces, and 220 gold pieces.
It looks like that leaves you guys a fairly substantial amount of money to make purchases.
Mm-hmm.
I think Anya is still coming back. The general store should still be available to people to see what magic items are for sale in this town. Otherwise, items as usual for sale.
Yes.
Alright, 206.
Nothing
Alright.
quite in the general store, but I'm going to check some prices in the book. See about upgrading my armor.
Can get pretty pricey.
Yeah, I know, that's why I'm checking. Let's see. Yeah, so upgrading to studded leather is within my means. And I believe that's the best armor I can actually wear, because I don't believe I have medium armor proficiency. Nope.
Fair
That
enough.
sucks. Alright, so Olive is going to go to the leather worker, and, she's going to get some, studded leather. That's 45 gold. She's
Yep,
175 left.
Got a special on lamb skin today.
Ooh, fancy.
Feel how soft it is to the touch between the studs.
Worth every gold.
It's the same price as the normal studded leather. It's a bit more luxurious.
Studded leather armor. Add that to my sheet. Yes. And I don't suppose that they will, give me 5 gold for my old leathers?
They will.
Nice.
We can recycle these. I like to sew them into aprons for blacksmiths.
Makes sense. Alright. There we go. Then I think that since I am short for any of the magic items I would want in the general store right now, that's Olive's shopping taken care of. Well, let me make sure I have. You know, I've only got 9 arrows. I buy some arrows.
Fair enough. The same leatherworker / blacksmith / general store block has a Fletcher. Variety of hunting bows,
Cool.
crossbows. Probably keeps a gun or two as well. probably in a locked display case.
Mm-hmm. Let's see. Well, let's see. Maybe I want to buy a. Let's see, because I've been using a short bow. I should upgrade to a light crossbow, and by a light crossbow, I mean a gun.
Yes, you should get a pistol.
Yes. Olive's going to. The clown is going to buy a gun.
All right. They have the same stats as the light crossbow.
Yes.
They are flintlock. Take a bit of work to load, but you knew that already.
Yep. Alright, let's see. I rename this.
I'm not sure that's
Yes.
actually better than a short, but it is interesting.
It does more damage. Short bows is 1d6, pistol will do 1d8.
Oh, well, that's good.
They have the same range. They're both two-handed. The
Oh,
only
wait, yeah, it's not a pistol then. The pistol will be the hand crossbow. You've got here is a short hunting rifle.
Okay. The only difference is the loading.
Which doesn't matter to you because you're a bard.
Right. I don't have extra attack anyway. At least not the type of bard that I am. Alright, I will put it
That
in my
type of
inventory as hunting rifle.
All right. Yeah, that type of bard would definitely benefit from a bow. They are a superior weapon to these early firearms in really every regard, except that these early firearms are easier to use.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, so that is. I will appreciate that slightly higher damage die though.
Yep.
When we're.
How about you, Chissy? Is Lisseri buying anything?
What's the fanciest clothes they've got?
That would be the cape that the elf wants to buy. It would cost 365 gold pieces.
I don't want that. Lisseri will not buy any. Lisseri is perfectly fine with what with the clothes on his back.
All right. So I'm not sure on what the timing is with. So why don't we take a quick recording break here?
That sounds good.
All right, I will see you all in a few minutes.
I wonder if they have any sarongs.
So we are back. Shopping was completed off camera. For those of you who were bored by the earlier shopping section, I apologize for making you watch it. For those of you who weren't bored by it, I apologize for not letting you watch the rest.
Those darn dogs and their high prices.
I'm Canadian, in case no one had figured that out from that statement. So the party had met back up for now. Gavinia wanted another day to consider options. She'd be willing to head out on the 30th if she's willing to go at all, leaving you a bit of downtime. Some shopping's been done. Has Lisseri spent any of this downtime working on a poem, or did Lisseri spend the lambing, eating lamb, drinking, and sharing stories with travelers at the tavern?
I want to be a productive member of the party, but I'm gonna say no. At the chance of a celebration and a party, motherfucker, he's partying. Like he's gonna get drunk, tell stories, and enjoy some lamb while telling stories to travelers.
It was a fun time. Lisseri got his wish from before the session, we're sure. So, with that in mind,
Oh my god!
What?
I got the joke. Sorry, I forgot my own joke.
Don't
Oh,
ask,
that's-
internet.
So, you guys meet back up at Tavet's Inn. The special on lamb lasts all week because there's only so much lamb that can be made into sausages and pies and preserved. And the rest of it, you just got to eat it. Got to thin down the herd a little bit. There's good money in this for the farmers still. It's a major stock time for them. And now that the festival is over, they're working round the clock, preserving.
Lysari's gonna speak up. So now that we're free of the nasty business of taking a child's innocence, are we going to go get the other stuff?
Yes, it makes sense to me that that we should probably visit Nilfheim. Nilfheim, sorry. Pardon my pronunciation. First, it is close to here, and we should be able to or hopefully someone there will be able to tell us where we can find the Heart of Oak. From there, we can, well, once we know where we need to go for that, then we can plan what to do next. And while we're staying there, we can maybe take some downtime to work on that poem.
I agree, but we should get it out of there before the 16th.
Now, you know that...
Why? What's the 16th?
Don't ask.
Knowing what I know of your people tells me I don't want to know. But I think...
It's better that way.
Yes. We'll, I suppose we should be able to be there and out before then.
Right enough. Nilfheim is a bit more expensive to stay in than Hickory Ford. They don't have a common room inn. You will be looking at probably renting a small manor house to share, but you may be able to find private rooms at an inn as the absolute slumming it. Few travelers visit Valish cities other than Velganar that are on their Elven Center, and they would tend to seek accommodations with locals.
Right. That makes sense. We'll have to make do. We could afford some inn accommodations if we need, or even if they're more expensive. We have some money.
Well, if my parents are in the city, perhaps I could try to weasel my way and get a house out of them.
Is Nilfheim Lysari's hometown, or is Cravestheim Lysari's hometown?
I thought it was Nilfheim.
All right, Nilfheim it is. Then yes, you'll be able to stay at Lysari's family house, and I look forward to hearing all about it.
Oh no.
This will be the price of the inn. You'll have to tell us a story.
What kind of story?
The kind that descriptively talks about your family and their home.
Mm-hmm.
And their role in Valish.
Do you need that now?
When we get there, I think.
Good, that gives me time.
All right. So what are you guys going to do with your day of downtime while Gavinia prepares?
Oh yeah, does Lysari know that Lavinia is joining?
You should probably tell Lysari about
Oh,
that.
yes. Oh, by the way, Lysari, I meant to tell you, good news! Gavinia McTavish will be joining us. Will be joining the party. Isn't that good?
You see Lysari, like...
Olive is smiling, knowing Lysari will not consider this good news.
Hold on, 1 second. Lysari... does not even blink. Lysari just sits there, nods. How wonderful.
Isn't it?
Yes. Like a, awful case of good berries.
Is that a Valish idiom? I'm afraid I'm not familiar
Yes,
with.
it is an idiom. An idiom. There seems to be many idioms that I am surrounded by.
Hmm.
Soon there will be one more. Why is she joining us?
Because she is, 'cause
Oh, money.
I invited her to join us because she is a strong and capable warrior, and our other strong and capable warrior keeps getting stabbed and falling down. And I am not interested in being stabbed and falling down and dying, like almost happened with those blasted devils in that tower. So I want another strong, capable warrior standing between me and, you know, goblins and wargs and hippogriffs and devils and Velganar
Well,
and whatever
I
else
su-
might want to kill me.
well, I suppose if they're going to put a dog in front, you may as well make it a human. No offense.
None taken.
But I don't want her barking at me.
Oh, well, you'll have to put her on a leash then, I guess.
I'll use some sort of weird magic. Great mother. Make sure it doesn't happen like that.
Tavit looks confused. So are you recruiting a dog folk or a human?
A bitch.
Well, that's good. More dog folk need more work adventuring. All I think is
Olive laughs uproariously.
Alicia
Listen.
just shakes her head and sighs.
Lisseri will politely explain to Talbot that he meant the derogatory term humans use for each other, not the female dog.
Tavit looks at Lisseri, who had been using his species as an insult, and asks him to maybe find other accommodations tonight.
You can use the tent.
I'm going to cast suggestion on Talbot.
All right, what are you suggesting he does?
He charged me the same rate as he charges everybody else before he gets a bad business.
You gonna leave him a bad Yelp review?
All right, you're gonna use suggestion to get him to agree to let you stay the night. All right, I'm in favor of that. Let's roll his save. All right. He thinks that's a reasonable enough suggestion. All right, you can stay here, but I'm not cleaning your sheets tonight.
Sari is pleased with himself. He is more than pleased with himself that he did that. He feels no remorse at all.
Still, his Elven Saner isn't going great. So far, he's met 3 species, and he's offended all of them.
They're all like, babies. They all get offended so easily.
As for Olive, I don't think that she has any particular plans for today. I don't quite have anything I can think of that I would like to do in a town like Hickory Ford.
Fair enough.
So, shall we set off today?
What about Alicia?
What about Alicia?
Well, technically speaking, she actually has the ability to start work on a crafting project. She wouldn't get much done in a day, so it might not be worth her time, but
What would she even craft anyway?
guns.
Just okay, yeah, that makes sense.
She would turn a profit on it in the long term.
She could start on something, perhaps. She wants to make her own custom gun.
Fair enough. Let's see. So it looks like it would take you 8 days of work to produce a musket, and you would have to spend 12 and a half gold up front. You'd be able to sell it for 25 gold when it's done. Does that sound good to you?
Yes, it's good. Hold on, let me look for it.
All right. Then let's spend that 12 and a half gold. And add in musket in progress. 1 out of 8 days work complete. Final sale value 25 GP. So you take a little bit of time at the forge, use some of the tools there, pay a small
Yeah.
fee. It's part of your equipment, part of the cost of parts. You brought some of your own tools as well. Spend some time talking to the blacksmith. It's pretty chill. You've worked in blacksmiths before. You're not used to working in one as a client instead of more or less a servant. But you find it much more pleasant in point of fact. You're not always being shooed away from things or pulled away from your project to work on the smiths. It's almost relaxing.
Oh.
Would you guys want to resupply?
Alicia wants to make a multi-barrel musket at one point, but probably not right now, I suppose.
Tell you what, when you have the we'll make this one your multi-barrel musket, but don't finish it until you have the feat that takes the loading quality off of firearms. Sound good?
Okay, yeah, that sounds good.
All right. It's a very impressive looking design. You spend some time drawing it out. The smith looks over approvingly at it and says that it's going to be a masterpiece. Works.
Yes, I spent 300 years practicing gunsmithing.
Fair enough. Guns are older in this setting than I imagined, but we'll live with that. So, any resupply before you head out? You've got more than enough supplies to get to Nilftheum and back. You've got 79 rations, and you're really only burning 4 a day, and it's just a 3-day trip to Nilftheum.
Yeah. I think we're with rations. I think we're good. So, I bought arrows, so I think we're good on expendables.
Yep. Just
Yeah,
knocked a
I think that's good.
gold piece off for Alicia's arrows as well. I'm not tracking her ammo that directly, but it's a cheap enough expense to just buy a new shot when you get and powder when you get back into town, I think.
Yeah.
All right. So in the morning, you head on out. Let's get that survival check for the first day of the trip. Gavinia joins you as agreed, wearing her family tartan, nice traveler's cloak, carrying her sword on her back, looking serious and fierce. Not quite owning armor yet. She's going to need a payday before that's going to happen. But she's a barbarian. She's pretty good without it.
Lysari is uncomfortable with Gavinia in the party.
Oh, we're going to your house, Gavinia said. I'll be getting to meet your family. Well, won't this be a pleasant turn of events for all of us?
Lysari mumbles something very rude under his breath.
Somewhere, an unrelated person who Lysari was being racist against looks annoyed. So, Alicia, the survival check for the trip, for the first leg of the trip.
All right.
I poke her with guidance.
All right. First leg of the trip is relatively uneventful. You advance on, coming into the mountains. As you recall, the check here is at a higher DC. You're also relatively certain that at the moment, somewhere, your elves are paying their taxes to the Goblin King.
Hopefully that's going well for them.
Yes.
Yeah, hopefully.
You lost
There-
the gold. I thought you had the gold. No, wait.
They're not super competent, it's true, but they should at least manage to be robbed without dying.
Shall I roll another survival skill?
You should.
And don't worry, when we kill the Goblin King, we'll
Yay.
take that gold, that gold back. Plus more, of course.
Unless he's using it to buy weapons
Much,
and
much
arm his
more.
men.
Then we'll
Alright.
sell his weapons and armor. If he's buying them, then there must be better quality than Goblin made.
Hopefully, but the problem is, will the goblins keep the good quality of them?
Well, we'll have to kill him quickly. Then.
Goblin. Goblins are not men.
It's freezing cold as you make your way up the glacier towards Nilfheim. You can see the city looming high on a distant peak as you travel between passes, snow blowing wildly around you. Make another survival check.
Guidance,
Oh.
guidance.
Olive is now back in her clown costume. Finger quotes around costume.
Yes.
Alright, so another survival, yeah?
And she's also complaining about the goddamn cold.
What are you talking
So
about?
I
It's about
wanna-
it's 0 degrees Celsius.
Yes, that's when water freezes.
It's perfect.
I can
We're
feel
like
it.
90% water.
I can feel the tip of my ears freezing off.
I would offer to warm them up, but I don't think my body temperature is adequate for that.
You both complain too much. Just a bit nippy.
See, this one knows what it's like.
All right. Once again, uneventfully.
Alicia.
Alicia will.
Hmm?
You were saying?
No, I was not saying anything.
Oh, all right. Once again, the trip is made uneventfully. Alicia guides people carefully through the mountains, avoiding any trails that might lead you to random encounters. Nilfheim is a beautiful city. It looks like every building took more than a century to construct. Everything is perfectly sculpted and carved from stone, some taken from very far away. Tell us a bit more about the architecture of your home city, Lyseri.
See if I can rip this out of somewhere.
We don't need a picture, just a bit of description. A color scheme, maybe.
A lot of granite. They like granite colored. They carve most of their structures out of granite stone. That most of the stone workers, the people that can bend that type of element, will raise from deep within the ground. The architecture is very reminiscent of sort of like the Byzantine Empire, like that particular type of city structure and architecture, but in freezing cold mountains.
Yeah. Ice
Um,
hangs from everything, snow mounds into corners. It's quite pretty in its own way. Smoke rises from the occasional hearth.
and people are walking about pretty, you know, in normal Valish attire, which resembles
One or two at least. People are still waking up as the sun begins to settle low on the horizon. Those folks who have to rise early to bake the bread and do the daily chores before the rest of the Vailganar wake up a little after sundown.
clean the snow off the building.
Is there a
Make-
guy on the roof sweeping it clean?
With someone who can who control snow of or use that element.
Fair
Probably.
enough. Magically.
Yeah, they all do things very magically yeah.
All right, so you lead people through town towards Lyseri's family home. What does it look like? How big is it?
It's fair size, I suppose. His family is more of the they're sort of what you would call the middle class this society. They have their own home. It's probably 2 stories and has quite a few rooms, a couple guest rooms. It's a big. It's very Valish. They have a lot of windows open. They have a lot of room for moonlight to stream in and illuminate the place. The roof has structures that look like seats and like a bed that you can lay under the moonlight with, sort of like their version of sunbathing. It's
Does your family keep a room for non-Valish visitors that has windows that shut and a hearth that they can light? Or are your guests going to be staying in the kitchen?
they're going to be staying in the kitchen.
All right. This house is freezing, literally freezing. Only alcohol is in liquid form here, and they do have some of that.
Some of that.
Lyseri's parents greet you warmly, and you're back so soon, and 2 weeks early.
Oh yeah, 2 weeks. He looks at the imaginary sundial that doesn't exist on his wrist. Yeah, couldn't forget about that.
Well,
He makes a face.
we hear a lot of young Vale that on their first year of out. I'm sure that we're lucky to have you. And if you want to stay an extra 2 weeks with your friends first, you're welcome.
Oh no. We'll be setting off way before then.
Oh, it's a shame.
Right?
You'll write us a letter, won't you?
Yes, of course I will.
It's good. So, what brings you back to town?
We're looking for a Heart of an Oak. And we're seeing if anyone in the city might know where those are. Someone perhaps came back from their travels or brought word, had a son passing by.
I have heard that there's a Valish library, which may contain the answer to the question.
Oh, wonderful.
The two of them have also heard of the library, and they agree that it seems a good place to go. A lot of Felgunar choose to write about their Alvin centers, and chronicles and annals appear, and it wouldn't be too difficult to work out who might have seen a dryad in their trips. There'll be a bit of reading and checking through things. You'll likely have to spend some downtime looking through the library, researching.
Someone who has an intelligence greater than 7 should do this. In other words, not Olive.
Olive is perfect for the task. I suspect that there is no one more paramount to it.
Alicia is not very smart.
Sari realizes that he's surrounded by idiots and that they very well might have to do this themselves.
Alicia actually is smart.
Just
She-
start a bit.
Certainly smart enough for reading comprehension to the level of knowing if Dryad is not.
Alright, she can go ahead and read some books, I suppose.
All right. You'll be at that for a few days. 3 or 4, most likely. Get you to make an intelligence check on the 3rd day.
Alright.
Would any of the rest of you like to be doing anything over that time period?
I need
Yes.
to write a poem.
So first off, Olive is going to buy a thing that I forgot that I realized I wanted to buy after we finished our last shopping trip, and that is a set of thieves' stools.
That does seem like a good idea.
Yes, and she is going to do that, and then she's going to engage in some minor crime during our downtime.
Oh, yeah, there's probably enough time to do a crime downtime.
Oh no.
Let's see. I lost the page, but I had it open. And if anyone else is doing a thing, you can take care of that real quick while I find my page again.
Cool, I'm gonna write a poem. To the glory of an archfey.
Yes. A Valish poet was definitely the right decision there.
Yes.
Sari's gonna call across the house. What rhymes with phallic?
All lick? No. Your mother is thinking. Your father suggests italic? No, can't do script
That sounds like
puns.
that sounds like a bad human thing. Alright, what kind of check is that to write a poem?
You just spend time on it. You've got to commit 7 days of downtime to it. I
Oh,
think.
okay, yeah, he'll commit to that. I think I might have failed to mention, but Luceri's parents are not married or a couple.
Well, which one owns the house?
The mother.
All right, no dad here then, just your mother's mother's boyfriend, I guess, at the moment.
Yeah.
All right, so on to crime.
Yes.
So, first of all,
First, I have to choose the DC of my target.
you also have to ante up 25 gold.
Oh, yes, I do. Yes, must spend 25 gold. Very well. I will do that. I have that. I will spend that, and I will have 105 gold left after doing that in my thieves' tools. I am going to attempt the DC 15 crime, which is worth 100 gold pieces if I am totally successful.
All right. A group of human merchants are going to be visiting the town this week, selling lamb and preserved lamb pieces. On their way out, they should have gold. And your contact here, a Velganar by the name of Tirabal, thinks he knows the time and place they'll pass and can arrange for you to flip in behind their cart, lift their strong box, and get out if you can make the checks.
Excellent. So I have to make 3 checks. First, a dexterity stealth roll. which I flub. Then a dexterity using thieves' tools. I don't have proficiency in that, but I am a bard, so I have half proficiency. I'm
Makes
just going to
sense.
make a dex roll, add 1 to this.
Oof.
Oof. Oof. All right. So Olive has definitely fucked up a bit, but she has one last roll to avoid being captured. Which fortunately she can use her best skill, which is deception.
All right.
If I had an inspiration, I would use it now, but I don't. Fortunately, she blows that out.
So, you're sneaking through. A couple of the caravan guards spot a clown moving through the snow and start chatting about it. You manage to get in behind them to their cart and start picking the lock on the strong box. But then your lockpick snaps loudly. The entire merchant caravan is looking at you in your heavy winter clothes and clown makeup sitting on the back of their caravan beside their strong box. You come up with something to say that gets you out of this unscathed. What is it?
I have no idea, but I know that the approach that Olive takes is she improvises a show right then and there on the spot. Working in the playing it off as if she's just there to busk for a few copper pieces, and not trouble at all. And before she manages to
All right, you managed to
Make her
play it as a religious theme about the dangers of greed. They're all thoroughly convinced that you are, in fact, a pious follower of some human god, the Stormbringer we'll go with. And they agree that you really put the fear into them and they'll watch their things closely. They agree to pay... they agree to at least consider letting you perform for them. Roll a performance check for me. It's a good
18.
enough performance. You're tipped 2 silver pieces.
Aha! Crime
You do
of
not
the
recover-
century.
You do not recover your 25 gold piece ante.
Yes. It's a shame.
Tiraval at least got paid.
Oh well. I was hoping for the get half of the mark results so that I could have my my costs covered, but oh well.
I know.
That amused me greatly.
Yes. The dice just wouldn't cooperate.
So how are we looking for time? Do we want to press on to do more adventures in Nilthium? Or do we want to call it here with a plan on locating the story where you can find a Heart of Oak next session?
I gotta wake up in 5 hours. I should probably go to bed.
All right.
That's
Well, thank
fair.
you everyone for playing. And we will see you in 2 weeks.
Thank you for running. I enjoyed this much.
It was fun. Thank you
I
very
have
much.
fun.
All right. Goodbye.
Yes,
Thank you
very
for
fun.
listening. Thank you for running, Retromach. Thank you for playing, everybody else. Bye.